Morning, this is Brian. Today is Tuesday, November 15th, 2022, and I'm parked here at the Agua Dulce trailhead here in the Laguna Mountains here in East San Diego County. Now, my plan today is to hike up Wooded Hill. Now, normally you would park down the road closer to Sunrise Highway and park at the big pullout at the trailhead. But today, there are a big fleet of Caltrans vehicles parked there. There's no place to park. So I'm just going to have to walk over from here. Well, it's a nice morning out here. Temperature's probably in the 40s right now. Sun's nice and warming. Absolutely glorious day out here in the Laguna range. So I guess I'm just gonna have to walk along Wooded Hill Road for a little bit. Could have probably used one of these little pullouts here, but whatever. Nice morning out here. Here in the Cleveland National Forest. I was really looking forward to taking another stab at trying to get to San Isidro Mountain by Ranchita and Anza Borrego, but didn't wake up early enough to do that. I originally woke up early enough, but I fell back asleep. That's the one I would like to get to Ranchita early in the morning, because it's going to be a lot of off-trail travel, and for me, off-trail travel takes quite a bit longer than on-trail travel. So I kicked back for a while and even fell back asleep again. I figured, okay, what am I gonna do? Because I don't know if I'm going to be going out next week, because it's Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving week. My days off are going to be shifted to Wednesday, Thursday. So I got to endure 6 days of torture before my next day off. And then on Thursday will be Thanksgiving. Might be going up to visit some family friends in OC for the day, so I don't know if I'm going to be heading out next Wednesday or not. So could be another missed week. I missed last Tuesday because we had a really soaking rain finally. That trailhead's just up there. See all the trucks parked up there. So it's kind of a short walk, it's not that long. But hoping the trail itself is not closed. Remember, right after I pulled off of Sunrise, I could see a bunch of people working on that side over there. So, hoping that there isn't going to be any trail access issue. This was my rapidly conceived backup plan for today. I'd hate for that to be railroaded. It's already probably about 10 o'clock. So I think it's going to be happening. somebody parked over there, right next to all the trucks. Interesting. It's like another group of hikers actually parked next to them. I don't think I'd feel comfortable parking next to a bunch of work trucks. Oh. This is the trailhead right here. Just take a moment to appreciate this. Nice scenery up here. Nice quiet. Well, mostly quiet. I can hear chainsaws. Probably a project to remove a lot of the old dead trees. Some of the dead trees around here. But yep. There's our Quercus Kelloggi. Early in the morning. So yeah, nice and peaceful morning out here. Trail will be behind all the cars, the trucks. Alright, so this is where you would normally park. There's the Wooded Hill Group Campground. Here we go. Morning. Have you done this before? Yeah, about 5.5 years ago.
Yeah, is it really a loop?
Yeah, there's a shortcut. I think about midway up, I think there's a shortcut where you can make it a shorter loop, and then there's one where you can make the full one.
Will it end up like
It should.
next year somewhere?
Yeah. Uh-huh. I think, if I remember correctly, it's pretty well signed too.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Uh-huh. You're welcome. Morning. Alright. Today I'm going to take the long loop to get up to the peak. A little muddy here. here. Start out at about 5,900 feet, and the top is, or the summit is, it's about 6,223 feet. It's one of the higher hills and peaks here in the Lagunas. Now, Wooded Hill, as the name suggests, it's very wooded. So, probably have to poke around for views. But it is, as I was mentioning to the other hikers, a kind of a double loop kind of deal. You take a shorter loop, you take the longer loop. I know the longer loop is the one that leads you to the peak. Shorter loop I don't think does. Later on today, hoping to maybe drive to Quimby Point again like I did in late September. That's when I did Garnet Mountain. This time random unnamed peak right across Quimby Point Road, and it's about the same elevation. There you go, there's one loop, and that is peak 5680, close to the same elevation actually as Garnet Mountain. Again, not to be confused with Garnet Peak, which is to the south. So this trail and this name of this mountain are exactly indicative of what the scenery's like. It's wooded, predominantly Jeffrey pine, and it's Jeffrey, black oak, Quercus kelloggi. Some manzanitas up here too. I'm not sure what type this one is, because this one can't be pink bract because it preformed its flower buds. I think we might be, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't think it's big berry either. Pink bract manzanita does not preform its flower buds like that. I think it's our only species here in SoCal that does not do that. Those are next year's flower buds you saw there. So this hike's not very long. I'm trying to remember if it's 1 or 2 miles. I don't remember. It's been, like I said, it's been since about 2017 when my friend and I did it before I was filming my hikes. Yeah, I know this year I didn't get as much fall color scenery as I normally would have liked to. But at least there's still some color up here. Normally by now most of these trees would be closer to leaflessness by now, usually. But I think the mountains had a mild early part of the fall, whereas where I live down in the El Cajon Valley, the temperatures for the most part were actually pretty close to seasonal, actually a little bit below it. The daytime highs were a little bit cooler than average, but the overnight lows were milder than average. There we go. Western chokecherry right there. Prunus virginiana variety demissa. I know I've mentioned this shrub before, changing nice colors, and there you go. You got some scarlet right there. Yeah, a lot of these western chokecherry thickets are still pretty green. I think the nighttime temperatures were warmer than average for this time of year. So that definitely has a big effect on fall color too. That's what I've learned. Fall color likes cold nights, chilly, cold nights, and mild, sunny days in October for best effect. And summer rain. Well, we did get some summer rain here, but I think with the very subtropical nature of the weather from late September going into mid-October, and we had a lot of subtropical monsoons well into October this year. I think that delayed a lot of the trees from changing color because they still thought it was summer, even though October wasn't really hot. It's just the nighttime temperatures were kind of mild. Now on this trail, there's a very rare species of plant, but you know I'm going to be pointing out as soon as I come across it. It's called the Laguna Mountains alum root, Heuchera brevistaminea. Really tiny plant, normally grows in the crevices of rocks. And unlike those huge alum root ornamental plants that people grow in their yards, these plants are tiny. You gotta kind of look hard for them, and usually you'll find them in shady areas around rocks. So let's see how much further up ahead we're going to start seeing them, because I can tell it's going to be happening fairly soon. Alright, so we'll see where we can find some of those Laguna Mountain alum root plants. They're kind of, like I said, they're kind of inconspicuous, but I remember seeing a population of them around here when I did the hike in 2017. Pretty sure on my Peakery page, pretty sure I took a picture of them and posted a picture of them along my hike up to this summit. Pretty sure I did. Like I said, it was 5.5 years ago. So yeah, when you start seeing rock outcroppings getting closer to the trail, that's when you're going to want to keep an eye out for it. I would love to do a spotlight on this plant, but not until it blooms, which will probably be late spring and early summer, May and June probably. right now it'll be pretty quiet because we are more than halfway to winter now. We'll see how this goes. I was looking over towards Stevenson Peak over there. We're going to be close to about as high as that is when we crest this one. The one with the big radar ball. I think it's a U.S. Air Force installation, I believe. I think. That was supposed to be off limits, I believe. No, it doesn't stop people from hiking it. We do get some good views. The trees are fairly widely spaced apart. I mean, I consider the trees a view too, but sometimes you do kind of want to poke out and see around you. So, but this is a very, very peaceful, very easy hike. This is basically a nature trail, so you know you're getting an easy hike out of this. You're only going to have maybe about 300 feet of elevation gain if you take the total hike to the summit, which is what I'm doing. I think to get to the actual highest point, I think it does require, if I remember correctly, it does require a little rock scramble at the end to get to the highest point. Don't remember if it was class 2 or class 3. I got up there fine, so, and I'm not a really experienced scrambler beyond, it's pretty gnarly class 2, of course, as you've seen on some of my videos. But I just remember there was a rock pile to climb at the end of this. I always stand by this, that autumn is the best time of the year to be in the mountains. For me, it's the best time of the year. Let's see. I think if I remember correctly, I think it wraps around here a little bit. Yeah, here we go. There's a little trail arrow there. Got some good views on this side, that's for sure. Looking more towards the south. Got some good views over here. Oh yeah. But looks like we have some use trails branching off here, maybe branching off over there. But the arrow points to this, so to get up the wooded hill, we're going to follow the arrow. I think what I might do, it's on the way back, branch off on the short loop and see if that covers any new territory. Okay, so yeah, we're here at the summit area. It only took me, if I started right at the trailhead, right at the very trailhead, it would have only taken me about 20 minutes to get here. If I started right at the trailhead. Like I said, it's a very easy hike. Okay. So I'm going to look for, I think this is the summit boulder right here. Let's This might mean me taking off my backpack. Yeah, here we are. Just about to summit. So yeah, I remember there was a rock pile over in the area. Let's see. Yeah, this is it right here. I do remember there's a rock scramble at the very end. If you really want to feel adventurous and make it to the top. Let's see. What's the easiest way to get up here? I don't think it'll be any more than maybe some class 2. Make sure I don't break any of these rocks. Here we are. This is a class 2. This is a class 2 summit. So here we are. Wooded Hill. 6,223 feet. Like I said, it is kind of hemmed in here with the woodland and forest, but like I said, you just poke around a little bit. If you poke around, use the openings in the trees along the trail, you'll get the experience. But it's nice to be up here. First peak I've climbed since Ranger Peak back in October in Los Padres National Forest over near Figueroa Mountain. So it's kind of nice to be back on a peak again. So my second time up here, and the first time again, it was like 5.5 years ago. It was back in March of 2017. Surprisingly, this area, after that really good rainy season, was devoid of snow at that time, because we had a really big mild spell in March that year. Especially early March, it was pretty mild. But yeah, this is it, Wooded Hill. Quick little class 2 walk. Here we are. So yeah, they were predicting the fall color wouldn't out here in the southwest wouldn't be as dramatic as it could be. I kind of noticed it's true, probably because of the weather conditions. Again, subtropical humidity in really late in the year kind of threw everything off, I think. All the monsoon moisture we had. Again, it lasted until nearly mid-October. So yeah, the fall color display is not quite as vibrant up here as it could be. Though in spots it is still brilliant. I mean, don't let that deter you from getting up here. There's still a lot of trees that do have some very nice colors. So it's just up here. I think that and the we did get some freezing weather. I think that probably made a lot of the leaves start browning off too. That's why usually these trees be more changing color in October. Again, not a complaint, just an observation. Yeah, it's pretty nice up here. Totally recommend coming up here. It's really nice. I think it's time for a few summit selfies, and then I'll start going down, and I think I'll cut off on the short loop to make a loop out of this. So we'll see how that goes. I don't remember if I did that last time, but we'll see. So let's see. Heading back down. So Summit Rock just up there. So now I'm heading away from it and starting to head downhill. So this must make the loop portion of the hike. You come around the backside, get to the summit, go around the backside. Now we're going around the front side on the side of the hill, roughly facing the trailhead. So I guess this is what makes the loop. Still gotta keep an eye out for that alum root plant. See Monument Peak from here. There's San Jacinto, Mount San Jacinto. Poking through the trees there. There it is right there. That mountain peak way off in the distance. That's Mount San Jacinto. So yeah, you do get some pretty gnarly views. Actually, must be tripping. Yeah, I don't think this is, because we're going around the back side again. So we're looping around facing southeast now. So this must be the other part. So that's a little muddy over here. That last storm, I don't know if it snowed up here. If the snow got down that low enough in time for it to snow here. But yeah, the summit's just up there. So yeah, we are closing out the loop now. So what I am planning on doing is when I get to that sign where it says short loop and trailhead, is I'm gonna cut down the short loop and make a little extra. Here's a little use trail. This must be a little footpath to get to the summit. That's probably one of the branches of the trail. Whoops! I started going back up towards the peak. It's one of the. I noticed there are a couple of little mini trail junctions up there. A couple of use trails branching off. That's probably why they had that arrow pointing towards the summit. That was like a little summit use trail, which I don't know why you'd really want to make a shortcut out of an already short hike like this, unless you're completely business oriented, like trying to get to the peak business oriented, just no nonsense up and down. Something like this is not a major mountain climb by any stretch of the imagination, so something like this, you get the bonus of summiting a peak and getting a nice mellow hike. So I really personally don't see what a shortcut would accomplish, other than just, unless you're a no nonsense, I just want to get to the peak just to get to the peak type of guy. I mean, I can be like that sometimes, but on longer hikes, of course. Stuff like this, we're just supposed to kick back and enjoy the open Jeffrey pine and black oak forest up here. At least that's just my take on the matter. This isn't a grueling hike up to a humongous promontory, but it is a nice relaxing hike where the payoff for a peak climber is the summit of a peak. So again, that's why I feel that may as well enjoy both worlds, the leisurely hike and the more involved hike. Looks like we got a little trail fork here, an unsigned trail fork. This is area closed. Our trail's going to go this way. So this fork, not exactly sure where this is going to go. I remember when I was here, I kept following it this way. And sometimes you'll see these random numbers on the rocks. Well, I don't know if they're supposed to be random, but they kind of seem random. Every now and then you'll see a number painted onto a rock. I've seen at least 3 of them already. So that's kind of how I'm, just where I'm supposed to be to do this actual hike. And here comes another number, a 23 coming up. So I wonder if they're supposed to be old interpretive numbers. I don't know. It's kind of muddy here. So just watch your step a little bit. The last one was 22. This one's 23. Let's see. I imagine it probably snowed up here. That's probably why it's muddy right now. Because it rained a week ago. So I wonder if it did snow here and then it's just finally melted. To be honest, the weather this month has been pretty darn nice. Been enjoying the seasonal temperatures. Actually, slightly below seasonal averages on a lot of the days. Kind of felt like we actually had kind of a fall this year in a way. I mean, the weather here feels exactly fall-like. Crisp and cool. Probably maybe still in the upper 40s, maybe getting towards 50 degrees. And I'm a person who loves cool weather. I love cool weather. I don't like hot weather. I don't even like very warm weather. I like it cool to cold. So this kind of weather is pretty, for me, personally, the top of the notch. Got a lot of young black oaks along this trail. It's pretty nice. See the little saplings. Sometimes the saplings will get some more reddish colors in them. Sometimes I've noticed. Saplings tend to change earlier for some reason. The bigger trees will be green longer, and a lot of times the understory thickets will be the ones changing color and dropping their leaves earlier. So I'm wondering if I remember correctly, if I link up back with that short loop, I wonder if that'll actually add a little distance to this hike. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, here we go. Out towards the San Jacinto Range, even the San Gorgonio Wilderness out there, and then the Santa Rosa Mountains. There's Monument Peak right there. That was one of the peaks I hit the last time I was here. Actually, the last time I was here at Mount Laguna, I hiked up that one, which is Monument Peak, and then I hiked up that right there, which is Hayes Peak, and then I drove over and hiked Garnet Mountain. It was probably like maybe about a 4-mile day. It wasn't an extremely long day, but definitely, especially Garnet Garnet Mountain and Hayes Peak, peaks that I'd never hit before, added to some pretty cool adventures. Garnet Mountain, I think, was the most adventurous because I had to do a lot of wading and chaparral and even some bushwhacking, like chest-high bushwhacking too, a few times. If I remember correctly, I think there's a random peak behind the visitor center too. There's a trail that leads up to it. It's a nature trail. It leads up to the summit behind the visitor center. The visitor center is at 5,900 feet. I think the peak is just a little over 6,000 or 6,100 feet. I don't remember the precise elevation at the top of my head right now. All right. I even got some Utah serviceberry up here too. Which should never be surprising. There's a fair amount of that growing here in the Laguna Mountains, actually. So along the PCT, near Thing Valley Road, is where I did a spotlight video on it, and some of them were very large, like 15 feet tall. It's an interesting looking oak. I mean, I have to assume it's California black oak, but the lobes are much more reminiscent of a white oak. So I don't know what's going on here. All the white oaks in this area are semi-evergreen to evergreen and not lobed either. Or not lobed like that. Kind of reminds me of brewer oak, Quercus garryana variety brewery, but that is not known to grow this far south. You have to go to near Liebre Mountain in northwest Los Angeles County to find brewer oak. And those are really cool. Those are really neat. They are a shrub variety of the Oregon white oak trees that you find in Northern California and the Pacific Northwest. Only this one's a shrubby thicket. I can change some pretty nice colors in fall. Okay, so here we are. I thought I saw it along the trail, but yeah, here we are. This is that rare alum root plant right here. This is Heuchera brevistamina. I thought I saw it along the trail, but I was so used to seeing it in rocks and near rocks and stuff like that, like I usually see other alum roots. But this is a very rare species of Heuchera. Very rare species. It's only known from this general area in the Laguna Mountains. So that's a rare plant right there. Like I said, I want to wait till it flowers to do a spotlight video on it, so I'll probably be coming up in here, probably like checking to see if it's either April, May, or June, probably more towards May, I would assume. Probably be a good time to see it in bloom, maybe even June. So I did see the plant that looked like that a lot along the trail, and was kind of hesitant to point it out. But then I was thinking to myself, that should be it. So yeah, it's a rare, very, very rare, very local endemic species. And you know, San Diego County is full of local endemics and regional endemics. So coming here, that's one thing that I really truly enjoy about, because among many others, one thing I really enjoy about hiking here is endemic plants. Me being an amateur botanist, the variety of plant life in this county is absolutely bonkers. I noticed a lot of these service berries have been cut back, probably to not allow the trail to become overgrown. There's a lot of them. Look like they were all cut back. So yeah. Again, if you're a peak climber who's not in the mood for a monstrous long outing, and you can get to this area relatively easily, I extremely highly recommend this. It's a nice, peaceful hike. It's not a slog. It's not a bushwhack. It's not cross-country insanity. It's just if you're still in the mood to climb a peak, but without the insanity that sometimes goes with climbing peaks, of course, depending on where you're going. I think this is a really viable option up here at Mount Laguna. It's peaceful up here. You can hear the chainsaws off in the distance. You know, the people are probably working on the dead timber. I have noticed a slight acceleration in the yellowing of some of the Jeffrey pines. It's kind of disturbing. All right. Another alum root. See, a lot of times you'll find them on the side of the trail or right by rocks. I kind of like to be somewhat protected from the worst of the sun's rays. The loop on the, if we just did this as an out and back, it'd be a really short hike. This is adding a little more flavor to it by looping it. Let's see. The thing I like about doing these on weekdays, the direction I head from the El Cajon Valley area to get here is against the rush hour green, and two, not as busy with people. A lot more peaceful, actually. So makes these outings even more enjoyable. Here's the trail junction. Let's see here. So the trailhead, yeah, this is where I came from. Okay, well, and then there's another branch of the trail here. So this is where I came up. So I wonder if I should go up this way. Oh, some type of hawk. So, so yeah, this is a trail back to the trail head. But I'm going to branch right on this fork and just see where this leads out of curiosity. I'm not exactly sure where this is supposed to go. But yeah, you come up this way here. This is kind of like a lollipop or balloon loop. So you could actually take either one of these. I just took the left fork, which goes up and then around up to the top, and then came around there. Or you could go either or, whichever way you want to go. But like I said, I'm actually going on this just to see where this goes, out of curiosity. This I just wanted to add a little extra flavor to the mix. This one also seems to be going downhill as well. Let's see where this little pathway heads. Interesting to see where this leads. And if it doesn't lead back to the trailhead, at least I'll know just to go back the way I came. This will add a little bit of adventure to the mix. This trail. Yeah, I don't know where this comes from. That'd be kind of weird if it ended up going back to the peak. But it doesn't seem to be heading that way. It seems to kind of skirt it on the southeast and eastern slope of it. Because we're heading southeast right now. More like south-southeast. I wonder what kind of cool stuff is out here. Seems to be meandering. I think that's Sunrise Highway down there. I think I hear traffic. You can hear a lot of wind, and sometimes wind and traffic make some somewhat similar sounds. So I wonder if that's Sunrise Highway. Okay, yeah. Breaking out in the chaparral now. Okay. Oh, we're going this way. I thought it was going to go this way. I was thinking, okay, this might be heading off in a completely different direction. This trail's pretty well followable. I would say the main trail, is pretty obvious. This is for the most part pretty obvious too. Now we seem to be making downhill strides here, so I'm just curious as to where it's going to lead. Ooh, skunk brush, Ruth aromatica, they're all completely dormant and leafless. It's to be expected this time of year. Yeah, this one kind of seems to be wiggling its way around southern and eastern slope of Wooded Hill. Yeah, I could hear Sunrise Highway. I wonder if this is going to actually lead to the highway, and I'll have to hike along Wooded Hill Road or something. Well, like I said, it's all part of the adventure. And me, a lot of times I like to add a little bit to the flavor. So I figured, you know what? I've been up and down the standard Wooded Hill loop. So why not try something different? Add a little edge to the awesome. Now we're heading north. Let's see. There's a spot down there. I'm also heading towards the sound of the chainsaws. So this trail also seems to be heading down towards Wooded Hill Road. So this might be just a part of the loop trail. I don't know. I know, like I said, there's a balloon loop. The standard way is to take the balloon loop, or you can cut the balloon and make it an out and back if you go around the summit the same way. Could make this an out and back, but what's the fun in that? If you can make a loop hike without any extra difficulty added. I mean, not that this is difficult at all. It's very pleasant, that's for sure. It's like, why not? Why not add in a little extra flavor? So yeah, I'm going to assume this is part of the loop. So I think the last time that we just came out to on the other side. Yeah, this is definitely part of the loop trail because I already see the parking area. So the hike's already pretty much done. Kind of sad though. Kind of sad. I was enjoying this one. Well, it's a very nice, enjoyable stroll in the woods for people who are so interested in just getting out and enjoying the peaceful vibes. So here it is. Of course, I gotta hike down to the Agua Dulce trailhead to make this the full hike, because that's where I parked. Okay, so yeah, trail guide. Trail guides look all ruined. So this, I think, is where my friend and I might have gone up the first time. So what I did was kind of a figure 8 in a way. So basically what I did is I started over here, as you saw, right next to this little post. So went up this way, went this way, and then took the longer loop up to the summit, which kind of goes around to the top and then kind of go around back to the trail junction where it said trailhead this way, but I went that way, kind of made a figure 8. Kind of a figure 8 in a way. So there you have it. Wooded Hill, 6,223 feet. The rest of this is just me heading back to the Agua Dulce trailhead. Enjoy the fall colors on the way back. Fall colors and the Jeffrey pines and the acorn woodpeckers. Yeah, just like that. I hear the ravens cawing in the hills and trees. Very peaceful vibes. Enjoying a little wooded walk back to the car. Little woodsy vibes here. Yep, to people not from Southern California, I think San Diego is just beaches and palms. The San Diego County, San Diego area, that's all it is. No, it's not all just that. Of course, that's obviously part of the attraction of it, and I like it just fine too. But just east of San Diego, it's all this awesomeness here. Oh, look at this nice, decent sized Quercus kelloggi. There's a nice, decent sized black oak right here. Oh, yeah, that's a nice one. It's a nice, decent sized one, actually. And of course, right next to it, Quercus chrysolipus, the beautiful canyon live oak. Let's go see this tree a little more up close. Nice sized tree, pretty decent size. A pretty beautiful black oak. What a beautiful tree. And decent girth. I've seen some black oaks here in Southern California, much larger, but this is a pretty respectable tree. In fact, I remember one time my friend and I, we hiked up from Fry Creek Campground at Palomar Mountain. Not the state park, but Cleveland National Forest. So we hiked up from there. Then we headed up and over the campground, and then took a dirt road out, and then some small narrow trail. And we took it past a small grove of Jeffrey pines. And eventually we ended up in this real thick forest with lots of oaks. And to this day, I've never seen a black oak larger than the one I saw there. And this was back in 2014. I saw another really large one I got video of in 2018 along one of the dirt roads in Cleveland National Forest up on Palomar. And that was a humongous black oak with a monster trunk. But it was kind of thinly branched. The one I saw was at least as large trunk-wise, but had a huge canopy. It was a humongous black oak, probably twice as large as this one. And my friend and I tried to find it again a couple years later, and we were unable to find it. The trail. We got to where the Jeffrey pines were, and then the trail became really faint and faded out. So we couldn't find our way. We were trying to find that big oak tree, but it was one of these Quercus kelloggi, and it was absolutely enormous. to this day still the largest black oak tree I have personally ever seen. And I would love to get it on footage. I think maybe next time I go to Palomar, maybe before the year's out, it'll be leafless by the time I get to it probably, but I would like to find it. I remember it had a humongous crown on it. It was an absolutely gargantuan tree. But yeah, this is quite a specimen here of black oak. Well, like I said, my trailhead, Agua Dulce trailhead is just a short distance this way. You saw me this morning, so I'm not going to bother filming the rest of the way over there. I'll probably be there in a matter of 2 minutes anyways. So I'll see you on my next hiking adventure. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my my take on Wooded Hill, and hope it inspires you to get here and check out the Laguna Mountain Recreation Area. See you on the next video.